Hit that like button for me, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me on the various platforms. So, you know, what we doing today? We got an Octaver shootout here between the Future Impact, excuse me, Future Impact V4 VIP. We got the MXR bass synth here. We got the Electro Harmonics POG3 and the Enzo X. Also have the C4 synth, but I'm not, doing that today. So, well, for one, are you using headphones? If you're using headphones, you'll be able to hear. That's a lot of that is sub-bass octave, so you're not going to be able to hear it in your cell phone at all. So if you're listening through your cell phone or through a device that's not headphones or earpods or whatever, AirPods, whatever you want to call it, you probably didn't hear most of that bass line stuff going on. But that's not it's not necessarily a problem I can fix for you. You got to grab some headphones. If I can hear the bass, then I don't know what else to tell you because I'm listening to the same exact mix. But so, see, sounds like this don't always translate in no phone now. Well, it's octave down. It's an octaver. So we're talking about sub-octave frequencies here in general with all these pedals. So, you kind of got to have the... So let's get to it, guys. Appreciate all y'all hanging with me again. Let me see what we got here. Bop, bop, bam. All right, cool. So we'll start with the Future Impact here. Let me get my bass out the way. Switch over to pedal board view. Bam. That way you guys get a much better view of the pedal board there. So the Future Impact and the MXR bass synth aren't really octavers. They're actually... What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. Feel free to say hi, ask questions as well, folks, about octavers and the pedals that we're talking about. So Future Impact and the MXR bass synth are technically bass synth pedals, but a lot of times when we're using octaves, octavers in the octave down register, we're typically trying to get to that synth bass sound, right? So why not just do a straight up square wave? On this patch, I didn't necessarily include any of the dry signal, but you can get a sense of the octave down. So just depends on what you're doing there. But then you got things like the MXR bass synth, this particular patch. Bring this volume up a bit here. So it has a very nice octave down when you're using these. Which wave am I using there? I'm actually using the triangle wave there. Typically, so a nice big triangle wave there on the bottom for the MXR bass synth. And what I got on here? Got something on. There we go. The amazing Electro Harmonics POG3. Thank you Love this bass. So again, this is one of those episodes you really gonna need your headphones or some good speakers, you know. But so you're getting plenty of bottom with all of these. Enzo X. This one almost has like a OC2 type of sound to it. And just as a tip, with things like that are actual octavers, like the Electro-Harmonix POG3 or the Enzo X, because I'm not using the synth part, I'm actually using the dry mono octaver on there. They depend on your tone of your bass. So if I take all the bass, cut all my bass frequencies, so does the actual octave sound. If I boost them, and all of them track really well. That's what the crazy part is. All of these track really well. Like in this category, the Future Impact, I'm not even using it in the octave manner. It actually does have an octaver in here. Now, I'm not using it at the moment. Don't kill me. But that's mostly because I haven't had a chance to hook it up. I wonder if I could do that real quick while we're on stream. What's going on, folks? Appreciate the usual suspects popping up in the house. Let me see here. So what I can do, because usually the Panda Audio software doesn't take up too much processing power. I'm going to go ahead and hook that up. But in the meantime, let's talk about a few things. So a lot of these octavers, if you got a lot of the newer octavers are going to be very flexible, typically quick. Also have had a OC5, Boss OC5. That's really good. The MXR Poly Blue, I've had that as well. Great octavers. You know, the main drawback to all these pedals, I guess, for me, is getting, well, not even a drawback. The most difficult part for me, let's put this going. We need it going to the in or the out. Let's leave it in the in. Getting it to cut through in the mix, man. Like, because it's so low in frequency, like someone was just stating, they barely could hear it over the track, right? With the whole track and everything going on. So I do think it is important for you guys to kind of play it with some tracks. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a MIDI cable. Hopefully this doesn't add too much ground loop noise, but I need to get this into the software. So here we go. Bam. Let's switch these. So what are some of you guys' favorite octave pedals, or what are some of the things that you guys would like me to help you out with in this stream with octavers? I'm going to go over how I created all of these. Well, I'm just getting this software open. I'm sorry, I'm a little unprepared for this. And I just decided to do it. So let's rock and roll. Let's see. See if we hooked up properly or not. And out. Here we go. Let's get some background music rolling here. let's do. Gotta have some music in the meantime. You don't want to get drowsy. And we're back. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, the MXR Octave Deluxe is a good one as well. That has the same mono side as the MXR Poly Blue. So this is going to apply to all your octavers and effects, you know, well, octave pedals, rather. So let's see if we can get a straight up. We could go with a square wave, or we can go, let's put this into the distortion block. I'm going to turn all the synth off. Oh, sorry about that. Gotta open this filter a little bit. So I'm not exactly in love with the octaver you get on here. It don't cut, man. I hate that. See, I have it on. Well, you can hear that it's on. And if I actually bring all the dry signal out, you can hear it a little bit there. Try to get this. Come on. See, this is why. This is why I prefer just using the synth part. See, so I kind of got you a sample of that. You know, I know it really wasn't worth the hassle, but let's see if we can change one of these square waves into what we're trying to get. I think we had 81. Let's get some regular instrument in there. closer to like a OC2 sound. So, you know, if you're going to use the Future Impact, I definitely recommend using the actual synth side of it. All right, let's disconnect these, causing me extra noise. But yeah, so if you're using Future Impact, put on that square wave, adjust the filter. I'm gonna show you how some filter adjustments you can do in a second here. But I don't need that hooked up right now. Cool. So you still got sounds like that too. Let's go back to a nice clean sound. See, and that's more of that OC2 territory. So you can get to it there with the Future Impact if you already have one. Just go with a square octave down, square wave, and just do some filter adjustments from there. But MXR bass synth. If I wanted a little more body, I can go with a different EQ. See, a lot more body. Same thing here. A little less. So with this octave preset on the MXR bass synth, I'm going with more of a not just an octave down type sound. I'm also got a little smidge of chorus on there. Another trick to get that type of low in, you got to keep that filter cut off low. See if I bring it up. So, you know, by doing it this way, you know, pretty much this is what it sounds like with the filter wide open. And a lot of that is the sub mix down here. So, you know, if I was to play with that mix, I can go anywhere from dry signal, if I have this all the way like this. This is the unison pitch. Unison pitch with my bass sound. Then the sub octave. Bring up that resonance, bring down. What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. So, you know, people are weird with these song requests. If you have a song request, why not just go listen to the song? You're on YouTube already, or most of y'all be on YouTube. Why don't you just go listen to the song? I'm not about to stop what I'm doing to play a song that you request. What? I get paid to play for a living. You can't just request songs because you feel like it today. All off topic. Ain't said hi enough and just tornado of souls, please. Send me a tornado of some money. I got you. So, with octave, that's how you would get to that on the MXR bass synth, essentially. You got to mix that first unison pitch in there, or, and then mix in some of that sub-octave. I wonder if I can just get the sub-octave. I'm trying to get just that sub-octave. It won't let me get just the sub-octave. Oh, I can get just the sub-octave by itself. Sure. If that's make you happy, you clearly not here for bass. Hey, I don't care where you go, as long as you not up in here asking for stuff off topic. I really don't care. And see if that million live streaming, see if they do your request for you just because you turned on and said do this song. See if that works for you. Have fun. So keeping that filter is going to be one of the main things in all of these pedals, all of these synth pedals. That filter is pretty much everything. Without that filter on, like I said, it's like you can't get that real just straight sub sound. You bring that cutoff down to about right there, a little bit of resonance to about right there. Mix that with your dry signal. Makes for an amazing octave pedal, right? So if you already have an MXR bass synth, you just need an octave down sound. Like I know it's a synth pedal, and synth, the octave down sound is different than the regular bass synth sound. So, a lot of us still like that octave sound. Like, I still like that sound versus just a straight up synth bass sound as well. I like them both, but for different occasions. And, we like to have options. That's why we got all these pedals, right? So now when you step up to something like the POG3, right? POG3 is going to have all these octave options available. So I didn't just go with just an octave down in the unison pitch here. I actually went with the octave down, the dry signal, and octave up on here. And with this, and I also spread them out. It also has the ability to pan the octaves. So I have the dry pan slightly to the right and the octave up slightly to the left while keeping the octave down center. That way they each have their own little room sonically. Like I said, the EQ depends. That thing tracks so fast, and it tracks everything. It's still in poly mode as well. It doesn't have a mono mode. So it even tracks. And that's something that the other pedals cannot do and still have that nice bass synth. I mean, not bass synth, but like nice round octave down. So with this particular setting, like I said, I have mostly octave down all the way up. You know, it probably looks something like this. No. This is the octave. The filter is actually like down here somewhere. No envelope. Good amount of resonance. Just a small amount of spread. Small amount of detune. That's pretty much what the setting pretty much looks like. Actually, bam, bam. That's what it visually probably looks like. So, and yep, that's almost spot on. But a little more spread. Yeah, a little more spread. So you can, mind you, you can also shift that pitch as well if you wanted to. You just come over to the expressions page. Let's go warp, change it to warp. And let's go from there to so even here, you can hear me shifting that lower frequency. And honestly, this is my favorite one, you know, out of all of them, to be honest. Let's see where we at. Just because of the versatility of it. Where we at? Bam. But I also do like the one on the Enzo X. So essentially, just so we clear, so far all we've done is kind of create different octavers and synth pedals. So in the Future Impact, we used a square oscillator. And just like I demonstrated here, you want to bring that frequency cutoff down, right? You want to use a low pass filter, bring that frequency cutoff down, and have maybe, you know, on a Future Impact, you're going to want around 20, the resonance around like 14, 15, 20, somewhere around there. And that's going to give you a nice octave down sound that you can blend with your regular, your dry sound. So really getting that OC2 territory for you. Same thing with the MXR bass synth, can definitely get you in that territory as well. If you want more definition, just bring the cutoff up. Right? Or bring in more of your dry signal. Now, Enzo X. Oh, I changed the daggone thing. Sorry, folks. Where we at? Which one I had it? 28. The Maris one is lightning fast too. It's just not polyphonic in this mode. It does have a polyphonic mode, but not this. See, it doesn't do chords in this mode, but it does have a polyphonic mode for chords. So with this, you got to go to the oscillator section. Go to the oscillator section, turn it on. Let me turn this mic this way to help me out a little bit. Your mode, you want to put it in the dry mono mode. You know, turn the pitch to an octave down. Come over to the filter section. I use the ladder filter in the Enzo X. Low pass mode and as the topology, and I set the frequency to 149. So basically all of that top end of everything has been cut out and just left the, you know, the low end pretty much. No filter envelope amount, you know, 0 on that. And resonance, I got about 4.4. And I just have the filter wide open, so no attack, no decay, no release. All sustained just means the filter doesn't close or open any at all. And this type is ADSR. Then from there, you good. What else? I think I got something else on here, some chorus or something. Oh, I got a little bit of the op amp on here, giving it a little bit of drive, a little bit of character. And the modulation I have as a chorus. See what I'm saying? Like all these, they groove, and they all usable. That's the crazy part. You don't have to, even though they all are operating off the same principles, pretty much the same things I told you, keeping the filter low, the cutoff low, and also keeping that resonance probably 40, 50%. Not 40, 50%, excuse me. 20 to 40%, depending on which pedal. 20% on here. All of these is about 40. So about 40% with a low cutoff helps your octave sound get that extra boost to it. So give you guys an example of that real quick. Again, see me having this open. It's gonna have a whole different sound. So you bring that filter down. So it's going to give you like that, get you, the filter is really what's going to get you into that territory the most with pedals like these, because they don't just sound like the Boss OC5 and the Poly Blue, MXR Poly Blue. Those are already tailored. Like all this stuff is already done for you in that pedal for that particular octave down sound. So you don't have to worry about the filter cut off or none of that. You just turning it up or turning it down. Here, you really have to understand what's going on when you're listening to the octaver, like why it sounds so brown or why it sounds blue. Or I don't know why that sound gives me so much joy, but it definitely. See, having the filter just slightly different. And you might say, why do I need that octave up in there if I'm just going to cut the filter down? Because for some reason, it adds some definition to the sound. I don't know why. It's just when I make the octaver sounds with the POG3, and those of you who've been following me for a while know I had Electro Harmonics Hog too. When I make those octavers, the octave up option in there definitely helps like cut through in the mix for sure. So and again, it's depending on your EQ. If I cut out all my mids and if I cut my lows and leave all my mids, I get that mid forward sound, and then as I bring in my bass sound. Now with the synth pedals it's different. Like I said, these two are operating as octavers right now. So well, the Enzo X is operating as an octaver. It's also a synth pedal. It's primarily a synth pedal, but all the effects in there are awesome. So you got POG3 in here. Just, I mean, come on. But with the synth pedals, yeah, you definitely have to. You might have to work a bit to get it where you want it. And they aren't dependent on the EQ as much. Future Impact's not dependent on the EQ at all. It's only in it. The Future Impact sound is really exclusively that you're hearing is just the oscillator, the square oscillator on bottom. Like it's, first off, that's the internal synthesizer that you're listening to. So that very same sound, you know, I can actually play with a keyboard as well. So that's pretty cool with that option. But yeah, the synth ones, you want to go Future Impact Square Oscillator, MXR Triangle Oscillator. When it comes to the POG3, you want to push that octave down, but you want to also throw in some dry and some octave up. And with the Enzo X, you just need to turn it on dry mono and pitch that down to -12, right? And then from there, don't mess up my stuff now. From there, all you're doing is going to the filter section, right? You're going to take out all the movement to the filter, whether it be an LFO or an envelope or ADSR. If it's an ADSR, turn all the attack, all the decay off, turn the sustain all the way up, and turn the release all the way down on the filter. And then you just bring that, I have mine set to 149 and as a low pass filter with about on all of these three, 40% just about, and with the Future Impact 20%. And that's going to get you that sound. That's going to get you that nice. Get you right on in there. And just so you know, I am running the Colorbox V2 tone models on the Tone X1 for these. For synth bass, I just like the straight up Colorbox V2 sound. So I have one that's more for my chordal setting, so it doesn't boost any bass, but it adds some clarity in the high mids and the upper octave. The highs. But this particular setting boosts the highs, cuts the lows around 350, and also boosts around 100. So it adds, just adding a little bit of saturation and EQ to each of the settings here. So I will say that, and this is why people don't understand. Like, for me, it's not a choice between these pedals. It's a matter of when you get them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might not have the money for the Future Impact V4, but the MXR bass synth is a good pedal. Like, I would never tell you guys that it's not a good pedal. It's just not going to have all the features and abilities that the Future Impact has. The Future Impact is literally a replacement for key bass, while MXR bass synth is just a bass synth on its own. So the same way the C4 synth is. I don't look at them in comparison to other synths. I'm not trying to get to the Moog sound or get to this sound with them. I'm just using them and creating sounds with them. I'm just using them and being inspired by them. I'm not trying to get to something else. If I'm trying to duplicate something, Future Impact's going to be that thing for that, the bass synths. But in terms of octavers, if you grab an Enzo X, you're not just getting the synth pedal. You're not just getting an octave pedal, right? And you get mono and poly modes in there, so it can track chords and all that stuff too. It's polyphonic. You can play it with a keyboard, but you also get your drives in there. You get your filters in there. You get the modulations in there, and you can all the different modifiers and everything you can attach to all these different parameters that are available to you. So any of the parameters that are available on here, you can attach them to a modifier or something else. So you can literally have that pitch. You can have that go from an octave down to an octave up relatively easily. See where we're going to go. We'll change it, put it on the whole modifier. Put the oscillator pitch on there. Which one is on? This one. So that's 100%. So what we'll do is, we got 100% right there. We want to take it from the octave down to the octave up. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the oscillator, turn the pitch to 0. And we don't want it to go down that far, so we're going to change that to 100. We're actually going to flip that and turn it to 100. 25%. We want this at 100, and we want this at like 25%, I'm guessing. 50%, yeah. Now, if I want that to go to an octave up, same thing, go back to the pitch section, the oscillator section, page 1, go up an octave. And now I can have it swing from an octave down to an octave up. Come on. All right, let me see what's going on here. Might have found a glitch. Let's see what's going on here. See, I spend time figuring this stuff out so you don't have to. Yeah, this should be allowing me to switch. But for some reason, I think I might have found it. No worries, I can have them fix that. I know exactly what it is. But yeah. So technically, you should be able to go from that lower octave down to all the way to an octave up. And I know you can do it because there's other patches I do it with, like the strings, for instance. Got to turn the keyboard on the right thing. That's me triggering, hitting this knob essentially. So essentially that. Let me see where I had that on. Okay, I got that at 100 and 66.4. 166.4. 12 and 12. Right. No, I ain't lunching. So with this octave down, I should be able to do the same thing. Bring that filter up, so it's probably, there we go, baby. Now we just assign it to that hold modifier there. It's the pitch. And we had this on 66.4. That's what it was last time. And 100. What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. Usual suspects starting to pop on up in here. Definitely appreciate you chiming in. If you haven't already, by the way, hit that like button. And if you would like a lot of my presets, you know, for these different pedals, all that stuff's over on the Patreon. Preset packs for the C4 synth, the Future Impact V4, the Enzo X, the Mercury X, the Zoom B6, Zoom MS60B Plus, and MS70 CDR Plus. Check out all those preset packs over on the Patreon. And if you just want to support the channel, you can do that over there. So I don't want it to take any time to switch. So there's that too. So essentially all I did was set the octaver to an octave up, and then I came over to the hold modifier, assigned that oscillator. It's going to say oscillator, but you know, it's a mono pitch shifter. Set the hold modifier settings to the right, you know, settings, and then go from there. You can literally have it switch between the octaves. Now the POG3 are also morph between settings. So let's see if I can get it to I don't want the live setting. This. Yeah, give me some empty. Bam. All right. Now we had an empty patch on here. Let's go to the expression pedal. And we're crossfade between two. We're gonna try to use two existing presets. So octave down to octave up setting. I'm trying to hear how it's morphing between the two. All right, you can see it there. Just one setting's louder than the other, but yeah. So that's something that you have the option to do on the POG3 as well. You can do something similar on the MXR bass synth in terms of morphing between settings. So I'll go to a different setting here, but this will apply for the matter of fact, can I do it while it's not saved? So if I go to this one. There we go. Something like that. So, you can morph between settings, your octave settings, and use that for different things. You might be playing, like, kind of doubling two parts there. You might be soloing and keeping the groove going, because a lot of times as bass players, once we drop out, everybody act like the world. For some reason, it go to a bass solo and everybody stop playing. It's ridiculous. I don't know why people do that, like as if we haven't been supporting them and playing for them the whole entire time. It's like, they be like, okay, what's the bass solo? Time to do nothing. Like, come on, man. They don't be supporting enough. And I feel y'all, the bass players. But, in situations like that, or even when you just work in a dance event, where people are dancing, you might want to do a solo, but you might not want to stop the groove, Now, the Future Impact does have that ability to morph between settings as well, but it does take up quite a bit more setting up in the app. You have to assign the parameters to the Flexi control, and then you can just have the Flexi control assigned to an expression pedal and morph that way. But the most of the work with these pedals and that octave sound, if just getting that octave sound, that a lot of times we trying to get around that OC2 sound, with the octaves down. This is the way you do it, which is crazy because we've not had bass synth so long, and we've done so much with a OC2 type of octaver, and those sounds are just in our arsenal now. So for me, I can't, while you see me using a lot of synth-based stuff, I always have some amazing octaver around or multiple amazing octavers around. Because here's another little fun fact. The Mercury X also has an amazing polyphonic octaver in it. And it can even split the octave. So it can have your right side and your left side be two different notes, two different intervals. So that's also pretty cool, something you can do with the Mercury X. But yeah, in terms of these pedals, octaves, octave down, if you have octave down in your dry sound at the very least, if you have the option, adding a little bit of that octave up will definitely help it cut through. Then from there, you want to keep that filter low, keep that filter cut off low, have that resonance around 20 to 40%, and maybe a little bit of touch of chorus, just a touch of chorus or something like that, or detune. Something in that nature will keep it a nice wide sound for you. And if you notice, all of these sounds had some sort of little bit of chorus on them or something, You can hear it oscillating very slowly there. That's that little bit of chorus on that sound. Same thing there. You can hear the spread creating that chorusy type effect here. And here. So essentially, the secrets to creating a great octave down with any type of pedal, whether it be the C4 Synth, Future Impact, or the MXR bass synth, in terms of these synth pedals, is going to be mostly either going with a square or a triangle wave, right, for your oscillator, pitching that down an octave, putting on a nice round filter. Usually a 4-pole filter is what you'd be, aiming for, 2-pole, 4-pole. Keep that cutoff low, resonance between 20, 40. And check your ADSR if you have, using these synth pedals. Your ADSR in here is going to be pretty much this knob here. So it just affects your attack of the filter mostly. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Yeah. Only other thing I add is from that sound would be like an octave or envelope, like an actual envelope filter afterwards. So I might add like a little bit of overdrive to that sound and then run that into a envelope filter. But even if I just ran it into an envelope filter, and it also, envelope filter I found also help it cut through a bit more as well. So make sure you check all that stuff out. I definitely appreciate y'all hanging with me and all that good stuff. You guys have been wonderful. Appreciate you. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, make sure you can keep up, and check out the Patreon for my preset packs, or if you want to support the channel for $1, $5 a month. If you found this useful, Cash App, Super Chat, all that stuff is amazing. And, I definitely appreciate everything. $1, $2. If it's your hard-earned money, I appreciate it. And I also say check out allbasscreations.bandcamp. You'll find my original music there as well, where I actually put all these pedals and different things to work. The first album I did with just my bass and effects, no MIDI at all. So before I had all these synth pedals and stuff, I did a whole album with, that feels like a full band, but it's all bass and effects. So everything you're hearing, the synths, the synth-like sounds, because there ain't no actual synths on there, synth-like sounds, the pads, the drums, the bass sounds, of course, all that is bass guitar running through effects. So check that album out. Then we got, follow me on all social media at the Bass Negus, Negus, the Bass Negus, Negus. I greatly appreciate you guys hanging with me, and thank you for hanging with another episode of All Bass Creations, Effects, Tutorials, Demos, and Review. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.